Hello and welcome to class 9th, subject English, book Moment, lesson first, The Lost Child. This is part B. First part I have already discussed before and uploaded too. The story is set in spring season as the winter season had just ended. All the people came out of their houses. They were cheerful as the chilling cold weather had ended. People conveyed through different modes foot, horses, bamboo carts, and bullock carts. A little child was accompanied by his parents. He ran excitedly and often banged into his father's legs. He was full of life, excitement, and laughter. The child was attracted to the toys which were displayed at the various stalls. As he would be left behind, his parents would call him to come with him. The child was obedient and would walk towards them on being called, but his eyes would keep on looking at the toys that he wanted. As he reached them, he couldn't control his desires to buy a toy. He was familiar to the reaction that they would give. He knew that they would stare him, indicating denial to buy him the toy. The child knew the emotionless way in which they would stare at him. The child was unable to control his desire any longer. He said that he wanted to buy the toy. The father's eyes grew red with anger. He looked at the child just like a cruel ruler who was trying to oppress him. The mother became emotional due to the cheerful mood. Loving, she gave her finger to the child to hold and guided him to a place. She asked him to see what was in front of him. There was a vast field full of bright yellow-colored mustard flowers. They seemed like flowing streams of gold and were widespread. A group of dragonflies, black bees, and butterflies buzzed around, sucking the nectar from the flowers. The child looked at them as they flew around. When one of the sat somewhere, he tried to catch them, but the tiny creatures would fly away the next instant. The mother called out to him as they started walking down the footpath. So, students, this all was a summary of the chapter or the first part, what I have explained yet. Now, let's move ahead after first part of the chapter. This is the second part, and it starts from here. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So students, when the child was running towards the mustard fields, he can observe that the small insects, worms, and different insects are roaming here and there. Okay, teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Then teeming here means coming out of a large number. Means just because of the winter seasons, they were in their holes or wherever they live. Okay, but as it was a spring season, so the insects were also coming out in a last section. Here abreast means view by sight. Then again a cautionary call came. Come child, come. His parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. Here grove means cluster of trees. So The parents were sitting in the shed of the cluster of trees, and from there they called their child, "Come, child, come," and the child ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and, forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. So, what happened? From the mustard fields, after going there, he went to his parents who were calling him. And at that time, when he reached there, where parents were sitting in the shed of trees, where so many flower petals were falling just because of the air, as it was a spring season. Okay, so here grove means cluster of trees, and he just forgot what his parents were calling for. He just forget everything, and he started collecting all the flower petals which were raining on him. Okay, but at the same time, when he collect few petals, at the moment he got with the cooing of doves. He listened the sound of cooing of doves. Here, students, cooing word is a figure of speech, that is onomatopoeia, because cooing is used for the doves. Okay, so this cooing word is indicating sound of a dove. That is why it is a onomatopoeia. Okay, so he again started shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals, he just forgotten about all, and he just throw them out. Then again a call come, "Come, child, come." They called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they looked the narrow winding path which led to the fair through the mustard fields. So when he moved ahead, a sound come, that "Come, child, come," which the parents were calling child, and he ran towards the wild capers. Here, students, wild capers means dancing around, means when air blows, at that time trees move. So here it is said that a wild capers here around the banyan trees. Then, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. So he moved to the narrow winding path. As you all know, students, in the villages, the path is very what you say, it is not a good path. Okay, it is just made up of, it is a narrow and winding path. Winding here means not straight. It is like in Hindi, I am telling you, it is pakdandi. We used to say that, those paths. Okay, so by with that pakdandi only, with that winding footpath only, they led to the through the mustard fields. Means on the one side, you can see in the picture, the mustard fields were there. It was looking as if gold is melting. Okay, here it is written also, as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. Okay, so here throngs means crowd. Throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. So, throngs here means crowd, whirlpool here means an eddy of water, converging means turning or going, repelled means opposing. So, as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. Means when they moving to the fair, they have seen that a lot of huge crowd, means lot of people were coming to the fair, as it was a spring season. Not they were only the people, other people were also very fascinated to go into the fair, and felt at once opposing and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Means he was not very much known by everything, as he was a very innocent child, and he was like in his in his mind hesitation was there कि what is there that this everyone is going in this much crowd. Okay, so he was very excited and want to know ki what was there in it. So the people are going there in a huge throngs. A sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the footpath of architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. So when he entered the fair, what he noticed, a seller, a sweetmeat seller, a shopkeeper who was hawking, or hawked means shouted. He shouted for gulab jamun, rasgulla and barfi and jalebi. At the corner of the entrance means at the where the fair campus was there, at the corner only the shop was, and at the entrance only, on the doorway. In that crowd, he pressed round his counter. Counter here means shop. At the foot of an architecture, here architecture means the science of building or making. He has made that his shop was at the corner and or at the entrance door. Okay, and he was having many colored sweets which was decorated with the different silver and golden leaves. Means you can say it is a garnishing which is done on the sweets. Okay, so it was garnished by the sweets and which was of silver and gold. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was the favorite sweet. So the child's favorite sweet was barfi, and because of that his mouth was watered. Then he said, "I want that barfi," he slowly murmured. In a very slow tone, he asked his father or his parents that he liked barfi and he needed that. But he half knew, as he begged that he would not be heeded, because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So as he asked, he murmured to his father or to his parents that he need that barfi. On the second hand, in his mind, this thought came that his parents will not allow him to purchase, because they will think that he is very much greedy. Okay, so here plea means a request, headed means guaranteed. Means in his mind only a mind frame was made that his parents will not purchase the sweets for him because they will think that he is greedy. So without waiting for any answer, he moved on. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistible drawn. So when he moved ahead, what he has seen that a hawker, a shopkeeper was selling or shouting that a garland of gulmohar. Garland is flowers garland. You can see in the picture it is mala. Okay, in Hindi we used to say. So a garland of gulmohar he was selling, and the child was just irresistibly drawn means he was strongly want to have that. Okay, he went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, "I want that garland." Again he moved to that basket where he has kept all those flowers, and he heaped here means piled. And then he murmured that he need that garland, but he knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers, because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So students, you can see like for that barfi also he his pre-mind frame that his parents will not allow to purchase those garlands. Same happened with these also. With these flowers also, he made his pre-hand mind that his parents will not purchase that garland because they'll think that this is very cheap to purchase for. So without waiting for any answer, he again moved ahead. A man stood holding a pole with a yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. So what happened? He moved ahead after that flower seller hawker. Then what he found, that a pole was there on which many color balloons were there flying in the air. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. Then what happened? He simply carried away by the rainbow glory. Means again he moved to that balloon stall where those silken colors balloons were filled with overwhelming here means strong desire. With a strong desire he moved towards those balloons and possesses them all. But he knew his parents would never buy him the balloons. He was knowing that his parents were not allowed to purchase those balloons. The reason was that they would say he was too old to play with such toys. Means the child think that he was too old to purchase with those balloons, to play with those balloons, because he was now a grown up child, so he should not play with the balloon. So the reason was this, that is why he again didn't ask to his parents to purchase those balloons, and he had prehand decided that they will not buy. So he again moved ahead. The snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. Then comes a snake charmer. Stood playing a flute. He was playing a flute. In Hindi we used to say such type of flute, bean, which is used for snakes so that they dance. So a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. Its head raised in a graceful bend like a neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. Then here coiled means arranged shape of coil, means in a round and round and round form. The snake was sitting in a basket, and a small basket, as you can see in the picture, students. Okay. Graceful bend means decent arc. You can see, students, how his face he has done, the snake. Okay, it is a decent arc, curve. Arc means curve. Like that he has headed his head like a neck of a swan. It is in comparison, students, here also a figure of speech used, like the neck of swan. Okay, so graceful bend like a neck of swan. So like is used, that is why it is simile. Comparison between two different things with the use of like or as. So this line here it is used simile figure of speech. Okay, keep it in mind. While the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. Then again, as the snake charmer was playing that flute, so one invisible waterfall, rippling of an invisible waterfall was there, which he can listen. Invisible means not seen. The child went towards the snake charmer. Again, he couldn't able to stop himself, and he moved towards that snake charmer. But knowing his parents had forbidden here means disallowed him to hear such course of music as the snake charmer played, he processed further. Then after reaching there, he know that his parents will not allow to listen such type of music because that is dangerous for the child. That is why they'll refuse. But the child is thinking that they'll not allow to listen such type of music, so he moved ahead. Then there was a roundabout in full swing. Men and women and children carried away in a whirling motion shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father and mother. Then what happened? After the snake charmer, he moved to a roundabout, which is a swing. Okay. In full swing here means moving in a circular motion. So roundabouts work as to move in a circular motion where the people were shouting as overwhelming motion. Whirling motion means turning round and round and round. Okay, so that roundabout is moving like that, and shrieked here means shouted with joy. The people were sitting on it, they were shouting with joy and cried with dizzy laughter, and at last they were laughing, causing giddiness. Dizzy here means causing giddiness. Then what happened? The child watched it very keenly. Intently here means very keenly, and he made a bold request. And after that, he was not able to control himself. He asked to his parents that he need to have that swing. He need to have that roundabout swing. And what happened? He requested to his father and mother. Then there was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, he turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. So this is what, when he was keenly watching that roundabout, his parents were not there at the moment. And then he was in search of his parents. He was looking left, he was looking right, he was looking at the behind, but there was no sign of his parents. So students, this much for this video, or for the part second or part B of this chapter. As some questions from this part I have given here, which you have to practice for. Thank you. I hope you have understood the summary or the explanation. If any problem is there, you can comment. Okay. Have a good day.